Go Jackets.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a minute since I put out a video, but there hadn't been a ton to talk about. People have told me there's some things to talk about in the Discord. However, if you're not a part of the Discord, there's a link for that in the description of the video. I'm going to be getting some members-only interview reactions to the spring game. Or not the spring game, the spring practice interviews. I'll put one out for everyone, probably the Key or Haynes King interview, and then the rest will be members only. If you want to become a member, there's a join button right below the title of the video. I think there's also a link in the description of the video if that doesn't work for you. But today, we have good news. If you've heard me beating the drum before, by the way, we have a new mascot. We have a new mascot for the channel. And my daughter has named him Teddy Pup. Say hi, Teddy Pup. Hey, buddy. Teddy Pup, tell everyone it's going to be okay. Tell them it's going to be okay. Should we hold you up like Simba? It's going to be all right. We have got a new transfer in. We've had, up until this commit, 8 defensive linemen leave and 2 coming in. Now we have 8 and 3. And I said, look, as soon as we hired Stantucci, he's going to earn his stripes initially from getting in some Jimmies and some Joes on this defensive line, on this defensive front. We've got some linebackers. We're in desperate need of defensive linemen. If you watch Bryce Kuhn when he was on the show, he said he had talked to someone who was on staff, and they said, you know, as far as our starting 4 or whatever it's going to be, we feel pretty good, but we've got some depth issues. We've corrected it now, or we've started to correct it. We still need some more. Jordan Vandenberg out of Penn State has committed, all academic type kid and a big kid. He's 6'3", 310 pounds, and he set a squat record at Penn State. I think it's a rep max, 615 pounds. He did a few times. In fact, let me just show you this kid. I've got the video here. This is right from his Twitter. He posted it.
Hey, stay tight, control the weight.
So there you go. Now I had to cut the sound because there was a guy that just kept yelling, "Get the F up," like I would expect to hear if I was listening someone aggressively battle erectile dysfunction. But yeah, this kid's a grown man. He just repped 615, 4 or 5 times. Strong, big kid, defensive tackle, desperately needed. He'll come in, start day one, and has a ton of experience. First, though, let's look at the problem we're trying to solve. Why are we in such desperate need of defensive linemen? Let me just cut my video and throw this up on screen. Here's the 8 we're losing. The 2 that hurt, obviously Kyle Kennard, probably our most productive defensive lineman, or at least defensive end. He goes to South Carolina, which is a little surprising to me if you were going to go get some NIL money and get paid. I would think you could do better in South Carolina, but maybe that's all the market value you had. Not crapping on them. I just don't think South Carolina has the NIL program some of these other schools do. Also, Daquan Dowse hurts. He was actually at senior day and, walked out with all the seniors who were graduating, which made me think he was done. I guess he still had a year of eligibility. He will transfer and go to Michigan State. Noah Collins, who was on, I believe, last year's recruiting class, is transferring to Arkansas State. Edinoza Rubin, this was a kid I was really excited about, I expected to start this year, came from Clemson. And I guess he decided to follow Pumachan to UMass in the Clemson to Georgia Tech to UMass path, which it seems like all the Clemson transfers we get take. Jason Moore goes to Temple, Ezra Odenjar to UAB. I think he came in with the same class as Malcolm Pugh and Bryson Dixon, and Noah Collins, I believe. Pugh going to Alabama A&M, Dixon going to University of South Alabama, Jason Moore to Temple. So we're losing a lot. Now, as far as people that we know produced, Daquan Dallas and Kyle Kennard, but you don't know, other than like Edinoza Rubin, I don't think he was ever going to do much at Tech, unfortunately. But with like Noah Collins, Jason Moore, Malcolm Pugh, Bryson Dixon, you don't know which one of those guys might have been producers. But also, we don't know how many people were quote-unquote forced out. This is something that isn't talked about a lot in college football, but coaches will, look, they'll just straight tell kids, you're not going to play, you need to hit the portal. Now, I criticized Deion Sanders for this just because he was so brazen with it and had his son videotape him basically telling kids that. So some of these kids might have been quote-unquote forced out. I don't know. There's no way I could know that. But we're bringing in, obviously, we're talking about Jordan Vandenberg from Penn State. Ayo Taifasi from Florida State. I'm probably butchering his name. He's a kid, he was a freshman. I guess he'll be a sophomore, a redshirt sophomore this year. Doesn't have a lot of production, fairly high recruit. I think he was a high three-star. Don't really know what you're getting with him, though. Now, just because he's not starting for Florida State doesn't mean he's not a good player. I'm sure he is. Florida State was loaded on defense last year. A lot of good players will be fighting for the starting rotation up front for Florida State. We also get Jack Barton from Furman. We've talked about that, an edge rusher. So Ayo Taifasi's defensive tackle. Jack Burton is an edge rusher. And obviously Jordan Vandenberg. Now, Jordan is the one I'm most excited about. He has a ton of experience. I don't think he ever started. He might have started some games. 28 games of experience. And I'm pulling these stats from ESPN. I don't know why. It seems like no one can agree on what his stats are. Like Jackson Caudell for Sports Illustrated had one set of stats, and then I looked at the Crowded Booth Bryce Coons article. We're going to read a quote from them. He had one set of stats, and then ESPN had different stats. So I'm going to go with ESPN. 25 tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 1 forced fumble, 1.5 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery. Now, the stats don't necessarily pop off the page at you. The important thing is this is a kid who's game ready. He's game ready, game experience, has played in big games, has been able to produce, strong, big kid that can be a presence up the middle. That is what we need. So I am excited to see this kid. I'm sure he won't play in the spring game. But he is actually from Johannesburg, South Africa. And I don't know what it is about Tech. We generally get a ton of production out of people like European players or players like from the African continent. Moved to Lilburn at age 10, went to Providence Christian Academy. He was Region 8 Defensive Player of the Year in 2019. He was a 3-star prospect at a high school. He's not rated as a transfer. So I think this is a big win for Santucci and Jess Simpson and staff. He's going to come in. I would be shocked if he's not a starter or gets a considerable amount of playing time. This is how you get better up front, is landing players like this in conjunction with landing players in your recruiting cycle. What you want to avoid, in my opinion, look, what do I know? I'm not a coach, is a cycle of plugging needs with portal. And every year, it's like you got to have a guy come in, learn your system in 1 year, and produce. You'd much rather kind of sporadically plug with the portal and build through recruiting, or that's how I see it. Now, he has 2 years of eligibility. This is something that seems to not be agreed upon. Kelly Quinlan, I think, reported he had 1 year of eligibility, but when Bryce Kuhn talked to him directly, the kid is quoted as saying he has 2 years of eligibility left. Looks like he's going to be in the Skeller School of Business. So, why does he choose Tech? What was he excited about with Tech? I'm going to read a quote. This is from the Crowded Booth article. I'll link that in the description of the video. You need to go read that article. It's a great article, and Bryce does great things for Georgia Tech as far as reporting. He says, with Coach Simpson, this is Vandenberg talking, he's just professional. He runs that room like it's the NFL, and you can see his resume of the guys that he has helped get to the league. Then with Coach Key, there's just a ton of passion. He's a process-oriented guy, and he really wants to win here. Now, I've said, good players want to play in the league. Good players want to see that you have a resume of putting players in the NFL. All right. This is why the defensive hire that I'm the most excited about, and this isn't at all taking anything away of Santucci or anyone else we've hired, is Jess Simpson. Jess Simpson's coached in the NFL. He's coached at big programs in college. He's developed NFL caliber defensive linemen, and you're already seeing some dividends of that. Before he's coached a game at Tech, right? Runs his room like it's the NFL. Very, very important. Because defense starts up front. If your weak link or your weakest link on defense or on your team is your front 3 or 4, you are going to have a lot of issues on defense, and it's going to equate to losing games you should probably win. But we saw that last year, and again, not trying to harbor hard feelings, but we struggled up front last year, and when you do that, it doesn't really matter how talented your back 5 are, right? You can only cover people for so long, no matter how good of a defender you are. And I do think we have very good cornerbacks and safeties. I think Clayton Powell-Lee, I would love to see him take a big step up this year. I mean, he really had to play linebacker last year and defensive back. How many games was Clayton Powell-Lee the second leading tackler on our team? It wouldn't surprise me if there were 3 games or more where he was our second leading tackler. If you can create pressure up front, if you can plug holes up front with a kid like Vandenberg, with Sylvain Yonjuan coming back, right? All right, I mispronounced his name, so I looked it up just to be sure. Zeke Biggers, with Zeke Biggers in conjunction with Vandenberg up front, and Ayo Taifasi. Those are 3 big dudes up front that can create issues for offensive linemen. Sylvain Yonjuan off the edge. We'll see what Jack Barton can do, but there you go. There's a productive front 4 for you. Now, still, you have some major depth issues there. This is a great addition to our defense. It's a great win for Key, Santucci, and Jess Simpson. We need more, though. You probably need at least 3 more. You need 2 more edge rushers and a defensive tackle, as far as I can tell. That can be productive, that have some experience, that can come in and get in your rotation day one. So, like I said, 2 years of experience left. Let me know what you guys think of this. I'm excited about it. I think this is a major step in the right direction for our defense. We'll see next season how it all shakes out, what Jess Simpson can do and what Santucci can do. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. I got more videos to make today. Y'all have a good one.